Located in County Offaly in the Midlands of Ireland and bordering on the town of Tullamore near the Shannon, Charleville Castle grew from paper doodles in early 1798 to grandiose plans by the end of that very eventful year. It was built by Charles William Bury, Earl of Charleville, and was designed by Francis Johnston, one of the leading architects of the day, and it was said to be his masterpiece. This beautiful castle was left abandoned during a large part of the 20th century, roughly from 1912 to 1970. This castle is reputed to be haunted by a little girl named Harriet, youngest daughter of the Earl of Charleville, who died tragically as she fell to her death on the main staircase. She was almost 8 years old. Her presence in the castle has been reported many times and seen by many different people. They say she can be heard singing, laughing and even screaming. Nowadays the castle is run by the charity Charleville Castle Heritage Trust, which was formed in 1994. Now that we've given you some of the facts, join us at Charleville Castle. My name is Fintan Cullen and I'm here in Tullamore at the beautiful Charleville Castle with two really interesting guests, Bonnie and Dudley. Good evening.
Good evening.
Bonnie, I'd like to start off with asking you a few questions. You're one of the trustees here.
Yes.
Can you tell me what that function entails?
Well, my function would entail anything from cooking for the volunteers, which at the event Castlepalooza that we had with our team was 1,000 people over a week, to restoring parts of the castle in the past, painting different areas and sanding floors, staining woodwork, tours, ordering food.
Just about everything.
Ghost stories, everything.
We're here now with the Paranormal Research Association of Ireland, and they're going to introduce themselves to us.
My name is David Wenger and I'm the lead investigator with the Paranormal Research Association of Ireland.
Okay, Dave, among all the paranormal groups that are around the country, can you tell me what you feel makes your group stand out a little?
I believe our group stands out because we have very strict guidelines that we follow when we do an investigation, and we have an extensive training process when we bring new people in. And the biggest thing I want to get across is we're not a bunch of charlatans that go into somebody's house, charge them €100 and then walk out at the end of the investigation. We do not charge for any of our investigations. We will not accept any money whatsoever. And we will stay with our clients until they feel that the issue has been resolved.
Come on, make it move in a big circle, please. In a big circle, please. Come on. In a big circle, make it move. Look, I haven't even got my finger on it. In a big circle, please. Come on, make it move. Make it move faster. Come on. Draw your energy. Make it move around the table, quick as you can. Do you want us here?
You want the boss train table?
On the castle grounds was once the site of an ancient burial ground inhabited by Druid Celtic priests during the 6th century. The oak was the sacred tree of the Druids, and in the grounds of the castle is a Druid's initiation circle, a constant reminder that this was a sacred ritual site. When the plague hit Ireland, it was widespread during the Middle Ages. Many of the local sick people were buried alive to prevent the sickness from spreading. So can you tell me, when did all this stuff about the hauntings come to your notice?
No. Well, the first thing that happened was we were in our apartments and sound asleep, 3 in the morning, and we heard children running and laughing above us, and I thought somebody had gone in and maybe they could hear it up there. So I took a torch and went up there, and nothing. Now, that would happen a few times a month, and I'd keep going up. Then we found out that that was the children's nursery. So they weren't going to get hurt because they were spirits. So I didn't go up anymore. Then you'd hear voices outside your room, chatting, but you could never reach them, kind of. And then my son went missing. He was 3.5, and we searched everywhere in the castle. We started to panic. We found him at the bottom of the stairs, and he said, a little boy and girl held my hand.
My name is Trace Shallow, and I'm the case manager for the Paranormal Research Association of Ireland.
Trace, as the only female member of the group with us tonight, can you tell me what you do within the group?
My role within the group is case manager. If we have anybody that may contact us on our website, either be it through the voicemail system or the email system, it's up to me to make contact with these individuals to see what issues that it is that they are experiencing, be it in their own home or in their business, because we do private and commercial investigations also.
This would have been the gallery. They would have had tapestries and paintings hanging on the walls. They would have had music and entertained in this room. And as you can see, same thing on the ceiling tiles. You have the C for Charleville. The boar's head that goes back to actually England. We're not exactly sure what it means, but we think that it means one of the royal families.
Are they more masonry, Freemason signs as well?
Are they?
I think so.
I'm not sure about the boar's head, but you'll also see on there the plaque of the slave, because the house was built from the slave trade, and slaves built the castle.
Yes.
So we do a lot of functions in here as well. We've had wedding receptions and 21st birthday parties last night.
And they do a lot of Kayleys now as well.
Yeah.
The local community come up and do Kayleys here and so forth.
And we've never caught anything in here, but there have been people in here that have been taking videos with their mobile phones and just been walking around, and all of a sudden you hear what sounds like a party going on with hundreds of voices and music and this and that, but we've never caught anything in here. We spent quite a lot of time in here.
I heard a thud over there and my foot actually vibrated from it. Does any of you feel that?
No.
Yeah, I heard a little.
Is there anyone here? Can you give us a sign? I'm getting a cold breeze right in front of me. Is anyone else getting that?
No, but I can tell you one thing. The EMF meter went up to 0.4.
Wow.
And there shouldn't be any EMF in here.
No, because everything's
at all.
unplugged. We went around and unplugged everything.
I haven't even moved it. You know, sometimes if you shake them too much, you might get a false reading.
Yeah.
But I was just looking down at the temperature, and I looked up, and it went from 0.0 to 0.4, which isn't a huge amount. But there shouldn't be any EMF in here. This definitely would have been the type of room where they would have had a lot of functions. Not so much like dinners and stuff like that, but this would have been like where they had tapestries or paintings. It was more of a gallery than because they would use the room off to the left as a dining room.
If that's you moving this on my lap, could you do it again? I just felt as if my thing was kind of turned on my lap. The pouch off of my IR torch. But my hands, as you can see, are both in one another in my sleeves. I don't have a free hand to do it. No, do you know what it is? It's just a weird sensation on my legs. It's like as if something's crawling all over them, just the tops of my legs. Now my torch is after moving on my lap again.
In the 6th century, these lands were part of an ancient monastic site of Linally, which itself was an ancient Duro monastic settlement. Later in the early days of Ireland's colonisation, when the city of Dublin felt threatened by the wild tribes of the West, these lands became the focal point for the first Stuart and later more violent Elizabethan plantations.
When I joined the group, I was left in here for about half hour, 45 minutes. Okay, the whole purpose of this was when we were bringing new people into the group was to see how they reacted to being in an environment where there's no sound, no light, and they would actually videotape it and then say, you know, listen, did you hear anything, did you see anything? Because nothing ever happened in that room until our now tech manager went in there one time and was thrown against the wall.
And we are recording. Okay. Now.
Best of luck, Gary.
Now. What's this one here for?
That's, if you look at the small numbers, I've turned it off of the sound. It's
Okay.
just doing the relative humidity and the temperature.
I know I repeat myself. We do not mean to harm you. We mean you no disrespect.
Yeah.
I've just seen a big light come up there.
Okay, thanks, Chris.
It just saw a blue light twice that size, but that shape, unless that could be.
That could just be
Would
from
that
make
your eyes against the dark
Yeah.
Oh,
and
yeah.
looking at that. Go again, Trace, with your message.
Walk in front of the cameras. Do something, affect them, or tip one of us.
On the lights.
On the lights.
Do that? Do the hit taps over there?
I did, over by the camera.
If you didn't mind the music, tap again like you did earlier on.
What was that over there?
Yeah, I heard a little click as well.
That could have been something falling on the fireplace.
We prefer the taps because the other noise is very low. That wasn't a tap.
As we know, the castle was designed by Francis Johnston for Charles Bury. Both Francis and Charles were followers of the sacred geometry, and the design and layout of the castle and the grounds reflect those practices. Two of the Earls of Charleville were Grand Masters in the Freemasons of Ireland. That is why the towers were designed with the 8-point star construction. The castle was purposely built on electromagnetic ley lines in the earth that past civilizations had discovered here long ago.
The light, or the red room that we're going to bring you to, it's actually adjacent to the morning room where we've been sitting all evening. It's the exact same design as the two of them are in the exact same design, and for this room is much, much bigger. Now this was, as I've been told, was a male-dominated room. No women were allowed to come in here. The male people of the family would have used this, but also the Masons would have used this room also. There are stories that the Masons were involved in satanic rituals, but we have never found pure evidence to back that up, if that was the case.
Not true.
No, but that's what I'm saying. There are stories going around. You probably hear of people saying there was, but again, they're only stories. Because a lot of people would think that the 8-pointed star is associated with Satan and so forth. But this is the room that young Harriet...
The 8-pointed star actually symbolises eternity for the Masons.
Yeah, for the Masons.
And actually the Masons, most people don't know it, they're not all Catholic. Masons will actually take Judaism, Catholic, Buddhism, whatever. As long as you believe in some sort of God, or some sort of higher power, then they'll accept you into their fraternity, if you want to call it. So it wasn't based on just a Catholic system or this system.
Yeah, yeah. Now this was the room that Harriet was actually brought to when she fell, and it was here that she actually took her last breath. So again, you could just imagine, you know, that poor child, this is where she drew her last breath of life.
So they actually had scientists come in to figure out what was going on, and it's actually just natural earth energy, but it just happens to be one side is negative, one side is positive. I don't know which is which, but I do know that the energy runs from this room straight into the red room. So anything in between the two of them, you can have electrical problems. So is it a coincidence that the Masons built it here and put this room here and put the red room over there, and the two towers are directly over these energy cores? As far as I know, the Masons don't do anything by chance.
No.
You know what I mean? Everything is calculated.
And done for a reason.
Right. Every room has a reason. One of the other rooms we're bringing in over to here, we always believed that it was their dining room. Now it just happens that my twin brother was over here from America 2 years ago, and he happens to be a Mason. He came in, I was showing him around the place, and he goes, well, what did they use this room for? I said, well, it's a dining room. And he said, no. This was their meeting room. When they brought other Masons in, and they
initiations
had meetings,
or whatever.
Initiations, they would use this room because of the dimensions and where it faces and which way it faces. And it's a room just across from us here that we'll show you. This would have been the place that they had. And you'll also notice as we're walking through the castle, there are doorways that close that look like a regular part of the walls, so that the servants can move in and out of the different rooms and not be seen, or be seen as little as possible.
Little as possible.
Because once they go downstairs, there's tunnels going, you know, rooms and tunnels and walkways going to all different parts of the castle.
The construction of Charleville Castle commenced in 1798, and over the subsequent 14 years, some 1,400 man-years were involved in the building of what many consider to be the finest neo-Gothic castle in all Ireland. The wonderful craftsmanship involved being mainly due to the skills of Irish people.
So Bonnie, having learned all that and experienced all that, how did you feel about living in this environment?
It's wonderful. I mean, sometimes it can be seem a bit strange to people that you're coexisting with ghosts or spirits, but they're fine. Sure, it's most interesting when you're not thinking about it. It's the furthest thing from your mind is a ghost, and then all of a sudden. Like the other evening before, Inuna came, the day before, I went up Harriet's staircase, and it was like walking through a fog. It was so thick with them. I don't know if they knew what was going on or what was coming, but it was absolutely, it was like walking through a mist up that staircase, and then it stopped. Or when you're sitting in front of a fire, and again, not thinking of these spirits, and you're just watching the fire, having a chat. And you remember this was last winter, and all of a sudden, the spirit, he walked across, it was a shadow of a man, and he walked across in front of us, and right out the window. And you want to say, ha! But then, they're spirits, they're not going to get hurt.
So all in all, it's a really interesting environment. You find it interesting?
Yeah, it's interesting.
Well, I imagine you would.
Well, we're never bored, that's for sure.
Tell us a little bit about your tours that go on here.
Well, the tours are, they're a mixture of, depending on what people want. I mean, some people just prefer the history, and then we'd give a tour just with history, to at least knows the history in great detail. Or sometimes they want to mix, or sometimes they just want mostly spirits.
Oh. Did you hear that?
Yeah.
Did you do that?
No.
Did you hear it? It was like something scrabbling. Did you move over there, Tommy?
No.
There was a little click here and a bigger one over there.
I felt that one over there, all right. Can you show us a sign that yous are here?
Can you make a noise?
Why would you think he'd be in here?
This is where he used to hold the prisoners. If you can see behind you on this wall, there was like shackles where they used to shackle them to the wall. There's only one or two pieces left. For a minute, yeah. See over here? That's where the shackles used to be. There used to be another one over here, but it's disappeared, but they used to chain you there.
And was
to
it the
wall.
policy of the house, or was it his policy?
His policy, basically.
Well, I mean, the Bury family had their own regiment.
Yeah.
And in the early 1800s there was a small rebellion. And for a short time this was used
As a
for,
stronghold type of effort.
the prisoners. And they would have been interrogated in all manner of ways.
Sure.
If there is anybody present here in this room with us now, from the spirit realm, we mean you no harm or disrespect. If you were here, could you throw something or do something to one of us, tip one of us?
Is Tony right, Harriet? Is this where you fell?
Because even if you came here, Fintan, and have a look,
Oh, I know, I thought that
you
was
still could hit off that and still go down.
Yeah.
And a little girl at that age,
Lots of people come in here to see you, Harriet.
I think you should let us know you can hear us, Harriet.
Can you walk up the stairs, Harriet? Or do you like the stairs?
It's actually making me sick.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
During the later 1970s, the long-term lease of the castle was taken up by persons who deplored the state in which the castle was falling into, and a move was made towards turning the tide of neglect and disrepair. Modern-day Irish craftsmen with traditional skills have subsequently been involved in a gradual and loving restoration.
In relation to fundraising, what type of events do you have on here?
Oh, we had Anuna last night with the Gramophone Society and Awfully Arts and Charleville Heritage Trust, which were there 14 or 15 of them, something, a huge amount of them singing, and they are absolutely magnificent. Made the spirits definitely happy. We have Kyotis in the summer, every Tuesday night, performing from 8 years old to 80. And I think they're this Tuesday night as well, aren't they? Yeah. We have youth centre coming. That wouldn't be a fundraiser. That would be kids coming and spending the night in this room with the fires going and sleeping on air mattresses with duvets and scary stories and them going around screaming in a midnight tour. And then we have, we've had education. We had third level students from France and Spain, States. We had Becoming Jane was shot here, the film.
One final question, Dave, I could pose to you. What should people look for when assessing a paranormal group?
There's a couple of things that they should look for. They should look for a team that acts professionally and is not going to go into their home and charge them any amount of money for an investigation. No paranormal group should charge to go in and help somebody. We do this because we want to help people and because we want to further our research. Teams should have set protocols when they do an investigation, and they should stick with their clients throughout the entire investigation process and afterwards until the client feels that the issue has been resolved. If they don't do this, if they go into the house, do an investigation, say, "You're haunted, good luck, we're out of here," it doesn't help the client at the end of the day. And that's why we stick with our clients until they feel the issue has been resolved. No glass in the windows.
Yeah.
That would be the door commercial to have it there again.
This is the room where I was telling you about that I heard the dragon.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And it was like, it was set up just like this.
Right.
There's no furniture in here.
Yes.
But I could have sworn that someone was taking a dining room table and just dragging it across the floor.
Just the room you were talking about?
Yeah, this is the room that I heard the dragging in.
Wow.
And I'm not the only one that's heard the dragging noise coming from this room.
Yeah. A lot of us have heard it.
I've heard it.
No, just keep moving it there, folks.
Just mind the windows because there's no glass in some of them.
They're not exactly safe, isn't it?
Everybody just come in for a minute?
Myself.
Yeah, this would have been the room where Harriet came up to wash her hands. We're not exactly sure what they used it for or what they called this room. So, but this is the room that I was telling you about earlier that I heard the dragging noise in. We were sleeping just in the next floor down, and I heard like a tail being dragged across the floor. But as you can see, it was like this. There's no furniture in here.
So would it be your vision to get as much of the place renovated as possible? And being realistic, if you had all the money you needed tomorrow to do it, how long do you think it would take you to have it done?
Well, it would take a long time. The key issues are that we have to spend a lot of time catching up with stopping the decline. So the battle is to stop the decline. Now part of that decline we can't stop because it's a building that we don't control. So therefore we are trying to move into a situation where we can take control of that, take care of that building, and then halt that decline at that building. And then otherwise we are carrying out repairs and maintenance. Like for instance, if you miss a water gully and there's a sudden downpour, this whole gallery can get moved. So you have like almost like a Spitfire scramble, you know, when they're kind of sudden rainfall.
We would be checking the rain.
Out, everyone goes up onto the roofs and
weeding the roof.
So that's all about living in a building and keeping it alive.
So if people want to know more about the great work that you do here, where will they find you?
They can log on to www.charleville.ie.
Bonnie and Dudley, it's been a pleasure being here as your guest. I'd like to wish you the very best with all your ventures in the future.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It was lovely meeting you.
Thank you.
Enjoy it.
Our time at Charleville Castle has come to an end. However, both myself and my team have found this a thoroughly interesting investigation. Charleville Castle, it's time for you to decide. Haunted or not haunted?